Hello, this is Brian Rowe with the Northwest Justice Project. We are doing an interview today with Miguel Willis and Danielle Sandoval. They recently ran a social justice hackathon at Seattle University Law. I'm going to give you guys a minute to introduce yourself, and then we're going to talk about the event, run through some best practices for other people who want to put on an event like this, and a upcoming demo day where people can see the projects in action.
Yeah, my name is Miguel Willis. I'm a second-year law student at Seattle University School of Law.
And my name is Daniel Sandoval. I work full-time at a startup company here in Seattle, and I also work part-time for all these different social justice projects around the Seattle area.
Thank you guys so much for coming in. So what is this social justice hackathon?
Yeah, so the social justice hackathon started because of a problem. The problem in legal aid. There's over 80% of poor individuals, low-income individuals who can't afford legal services. That number jumps to 60% when you're talking about the middle class. Mm-hmm. So we believe that there was, we can address this problem by using innovation to solve it. Daniel?
Yeah, I mean, Miguel approached me in the summer, and we decided to create a hackathon and plan it for November, which gave us plenty of time to figure out the needs of our community and really address the problem of access to justice. And so, given my inexperience in the space, Miguel kind of toted me around to all these different legal service providers, and I, as a user experience designer, got to figure out the different ways that we could implement technology in these types of problems that are currently facing this community.
So what is a hackathon? That's a scary word for some people.
Sure. That was actually the main question that I was asked while promoting the hackathon, while trying to explain it to the Seattle University of what is a hackathon. So a hackathon, a lot of people think it's a scary thing where people are hacking computers, but it's actually it is getting a bunch of right-brain people in a room, getting a bunch of left-brain people in a room, letting them collab and, spur innovation to a particular field using technology in most cases.
Yeah, and a lot of hackathons really, there's different ways of throwing it. It's really just a word that I think started with the startup world, weekend events where people would just crack down and work on a feature. Now it's since expanded to kind of cover all these different types of events, like Miguel said, to bring together people to solve problems. And that's kind of been the biggest thing about engineering in the recent times is that there's lots of problems to solve, and there's just only so much time to do it. And so the way that hackathons work is you kind of take this large expanse of problems and you narrow it down to a very small amount of time, like a weekend or a day. And you try to make sure that the people have all the information and all of the technology that they need to develop solutions for these problems, and then they come out of this weekend developing like a first version or a prototype of how they think they would solve it. And so we're seeing a lot of innovations coming out of these types of programs. Sometimes they're just first attempts or just wireframes of what people think might solve these issues, and sometimes they're fully featured applications that could be used, on the spot by the people that need these services.
Specifically, the social justice hackathon that you guys are in. Tell us a little bit about that event, how it went, how many people you had, that type of stuff.
Yeah, so the social justice hackathon was specifically to address the problem in civil legal aid, to solve that using innovation, using technology, to increase the access to justice and the access to legal services to poor and low-income people. We had about 73 attendees at the event, about 6 teams, some amazing projects, and we had a great host of mentors, a 2-day event. It was great. I was really excited for the turnout. Daniel, I don't know if you want to talk about the teams.
Yeah, I mean the teams were excellent. They all kind of formed themselves. So the way that we did the hackathon was we got everyone in the room together, gave them a bunch of food so they were happy, and decided to have people come up and make these pitches of what projects that they thought would be a good problem to work on. And so since we had this kind of this theme of access to justice that we were pushing up into the event as well as during the event, we had those in the legal community that were facing issues maybe in their current work, brick walls they were running into that technology could maybe solve, and different places that they think having an engineer or a computer scientist working on it would change the way that they work. And I think we had maybe 10, 12 people come up and actually present their project. And then we really forced them all to mingle, kind of saying like, it's okay, they're not scary. These legal people are, they speak normal languages, and yes, so do the engineers, even though they have the fields, they are able to communicate. And I think breaking down these barriers between these two fields is what allowed these teams to form themselves. And the way we did that, I think, in the actual hackathon was put little stickers on each other, on every single name tag, and said, this person is a legal person, this person is a hacker, and that kind of got the innovations, moving along, and the teams that ended up forming, all were facing actual issues in today's world.
So what were some of the organizations that you had come and participate with legal problems?
Oh, sure. We had King County Bar Association, their Housing Justice Project. They wanted to solve a problem dealing with tenants and landlords of payment verification. We had the KCBA Neighborhood Legal Clinics. There's a big problem that they presented dealing with of how to effectively serve their clients at neighborhood legal clinics in an efficient manner. Another organization was the Self-Represented Litigants Network. Basically, their problem was how do we get individuals court forms, or how do we get individuals to fill out different forms.
Especially longer forms that are really hard to understand.
Yeah, how do we get them to digest that information? We had a couple other projects.
Yeah, the biggest ones I think that came out of just kind of like the local community. Besides SRLN, which is someone who flew in from Chicago in order to solve their problems. We had others who were from innovators from I think private different legal organizations. One of them had an idea to create a thing called Ed Forward, which was our runner-up, and they're not going to be presenting at the demo day, but they're definitely on the website advertised as a really good innovation, and that was just the idea that we could educate our high school students and middle school students with a kind of like a Khan Academy or online website for legal information. And this they created a wireframe for it at the very end, and it really showcased the kind of idea that they had, and I think they ended up pitching it to other hackathons afterwards as well.
Excellent. So what were these top 3 projects that are going to be presented at the demo day?
Yeah, the top 3 projects were Paid.It. Paid.It is the payment verification platform that allows tenants to verify their payments if they're paying their rent outside of the banking system with a check or money order. It allows the individual to take a screenshot of the payment and timestamps it. It's great technology, and just talking to different individuals, I think that application will benefit a lot of individuals. Another application was the Social Justice League. This application will be the system that will be used to help better triage individuals as they navigate through the neighborhood legal clinics. There's a lot of paperwork when you get to neighborhood legal clinics, and I think this technology will be used to kind of just efficiently get them through, so the lawyers that do volunteer their time will be able to see more clients. Do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think following up on that one, there was one specific problem that was in these neighborhood legal clinics, and that was each pro bono lawyer only had a certain amount of time that they'd be working with the client, and so the follow-up emails and all that would go directly to the lawyer, who would then not be volunteering at the time. So it was kind of like a customer relation management system, but very, very narrowed down to this use case that these lawyers cycling through, and with repeat people coming to the legal clinic. This project was able to make it more efficient by having like a central repository for these types of requests. The number one project was a Court Whisperer, which was solving the SRLN use case, and their biggest issue was that people were trying to fill out these forms, and they weren't able to do it. Read the forms efficiently and effectively in the amount of time that they were actually in the office, and also fill them out and make sure that they could finish the form in a complete sense, which was very difficult for people who maybe only have a high school education, maybe not even that. And these types of use cases were solved with a simple program that could have a lot of variety of uses, which is an audio-based solution for a phone that would prompt you with different survey questions, questions that would help you fill out the form automatically, and then these forms could be generated in a PDF format, which is all they really need in order to submit it in an SRLN type of or SRL type of environment.
Excellent. Sounds really exciting. So when is this demo day?
Yeah, the demo day is actually this Wednesday, February 3rd at the Seattle City Hall, hosted by the Office of the Mayor. So we would love for everyone to come out.
The mayor will be there.
The mayor will be there.
Yes.
And for people who are seeing this video afterwards, where can they find information about these projects?
So we have a website. It's called you can find it at ssjh.co, but our longer domain is socialjusticehackathon.com. We'll be passing out stickers at the event, so if you see them around, that's the very long URL on it. And it'll allow you to access any of these projects at any time. And if we throw further hackathons in the future, then you'll find it on that website as well. You can also find us on Twitter, where we'll be blasting about the event all the time, and of course telling you about the progress of these applications as they continue to develop.
And what is your handle on Twitter for this stuff?
It is at SSJ Hackathon.
Okay.
And so if you see us there, please retweet us. We'll be happy to share. Yeah.
Excellent. So how difficult was it to put this together? Is this an impossible task that takes a CEO and a bunch of staff to do, or?
No, it's definitely a lot of work, but I would prefer a small, lean team that works, very, iteratively to kind of get a good hackathon. We did it. Most of the work were 2-3 people working on this project. You do want to give yourself about 5-4 months to properly plan, acquire sponsors, get venue, and make sure you have all your logistics in place. But I think it's definitely a project that a small group can handle.
So you mentioned sponsors. First of all, who did you have for sponsors, and how difficult or easy was it to get those sponsors?
Sure. So for us, we wanted to have not only fiscal sponsors, and they were Avo, Puget Sound Legal, Microsoft, Seattle University School of Law. But in addition to our fiscal sponsors, we wanted to have community partners. Community partner sponsorships are very powerful because they allow you to connect with people in the legal aid field, and they can expand your reach, the outreach of our project. So our community partners were Northwest Justice Project, Columbia Legal Services, King County Bar Association. So this allowed us to help spread the word and get more people excited about the event.
So how do you get lawyers to show up to an event like this? Techies, I know, they love Hackathon and they'll be there. Well, it helps to advertise to them too. But how do you get lawyers to show up?
So what we did was we pitched it to a lot of different groups, like the Legal Innovation Meetup Group in Seattle, the Access to Justice Board. We went to a couple meetings. So we sat down and we strategized what different segments of the legal field to kind of pitch it to and present it to, that that they can see the value proposition in attending one of these things. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, and what we found, I think, was developing an actual focus on a theme was a really good way to draw people in, because not only could you advertise to everyone, do a large blast and people won't feel like you're spamming. You can also really get down to a narrow focus on the types of people that you want at your event. And so, if you send out an email or send out a message on Twitter saying, hey, anybody who's interested in legal tech, please show up, you might get a lot of people who are interested, but they don't really have a reason to come. And the moment that they see their buzzword in the URL or in the or even in any of the marketing messaging, then they totally get focused on it. So if it's someone who for instance cares about access to justice, they see the word access to justice or ATJ or something that they're following on Twitter or in their email, and they'll see, oh my goodness, I have to come to this event. This is the type of thing I'm interested in. It's not just legal tech, it's the specific focus of legal tech that they enjoy. And not only does it help with marketing, but it helps with the actual event itself. When you're there, everybody wants to do something, and working on a diverse level people trying to solve all the world's problems, it's just not going to get done in 24, 48, or however long, many hours that you have for the hackathon. What is going to happen is if you have a broad set of a theme, is people are going to work towards it and then give up, or work towards it and then figure out there could be a better way to solve this problem. But if you have everybody there who's focused on the theme beforehand, and then you pitch that theme during the event and say this is the problem that we're solving, you get a lot more focus, not only during the event, but you get a lot more passion from the people who are there. And seeing that, our lawyers who have come out of it, we had a post survey that came out, and I think the thing that the lawyers really enjoyed was that they felt included. They felt that their information was valued, and it was because the developers wouldn't be there, wouldn't have a problem to solve without the lawyers.
Mm-hmm. So any other tips that you guys have for someone else who wants to replicate this?
Use a project management system. Yeah, Trello, Asana, anything that keeps track of the things you have to do.
Very practical.
Very practical. Yeah, it's something that will make your life significantly easier, especially if there's due dates, because the whole world has due dates, and including the hackathon day. And so being able to know exactly what you have to do the week of, the week before, months before, really, and being able to sign it to people right before the event is very helpful, I think, in regards to getting things done. Because there's a lot of things that need to get done, but once they actually get done before the event itself really isn't much work. There's probably 3 hours at the very beginning of you introducing the concept and making sure everyone's okay and that they're here and they're fed. But after that, it kind of runs itself. Everybody wants to solve their problems, and we even had problems of people not wanting to show up for the speeches during the event because they were so busy actually working on the hacks that they were making. And so that's okay. It's not a problem. But it's just know that all the work up front is most of the work of the hackathon.
So it sounds like having that project schedule for the 4 months or 6 months with the PR, the outreach, the recruiting, that's a big part of it. That the day of, there's still things to do, but putting that groundwork in is very important.
Yeah, we both did this part-time. I had a job and I was in school,
And I'm in law school.
and he's in law school. So there's a significant amount of work that we put into this, but since we spread it out over 4 or so months, it was totally manageable, and it's definitely, I highly recommend that you get, if you're getting involved in a hackathon or thinking about doing a hackathon, you should really get someone that you can bounce ideas off of, and someone who can take things off your hands when things get rough. But more than 2 or 3 people, not really necessary. I think it's very possible to do it with just a small group.
Excellent.
I'd like to add that don't completely reinvent the wheel. I think the initial meeting that I had when I wanted to do this, I reached out to Dan Lear, who hosted the legal technology startup weekend about a year before our hackathon, and just kind of got advice and tips of planning, of what this looks like. So definitely reach out to someone who's already completed a hackathon and get their advice. Everyone out there is definitely welcome to reach out to us if you need advice or tips on planning, but definitely collaboration is key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other closing thoughts?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Come out to the hackathon. Come out to the demo day.
Excellent. Thank you guys so much. We greatly appreciate you coming into the office here at Northwest Justice Project, and look forward to seeing the demo day. Thanks for watching. This has been Brian Rowe with Northwest Justice Project, where I run the National Technology Assistance Project. I will be out at the demo day and hope to see you out there also. If you would like more information about this project or other legal services technology projects, subscribe to the channel here and contact me over at the National Technology Assistance Project, lsntap.org. Thank you.